What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I'm your host, Ryan D, aka Ryan680.
I'm Angela, that Kelly Ange.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk once again, guys. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. This is our first ever live. Hopefully it's not coming out too echoey right now, but this is our first ever live show that we've done in a long time, really. It's been a while. It's been a crazy year, guys, 2022. And yeah, let's get right to it, guys. This is our top 10 films of 2022 for all you moviegoers out there, for everyone it's been an impeccable year for anyone, maybe not for some, but definitely this year went by pretty quick. But yeah, let's get right to it, guys, and stay tuned. Hope you're ready for this. Two marker. What's going on once again, guys? Alamo City Movie Talk fans, thank you so much for making us a part of your day. And as always, I'm your host, Ryan D, aka Ryan680, testing out this new mic that we just got, Rode microphone here, and hopefully it sounds good as it looks. I mean, Angela, what's going on?
Just celebrating ringing in the new year. You know, a lot to be thankful for this, for this 2022 year. Can't wait to see what next year holds. So pretty excited here.
Yeah, exactly. We got a lot happening for films right now. When we go back to remaking this list, right? I was literally debating. I was just like, what movies came out this year? It got you questioning, right? I mean, for anyone that sees a lot of movies like we do, it's definitely brings up questions of thought, like how many movies have we seen, for one, and for two, how many? A lot of films, and how many? Do you recognize? Oh, that came out in 2022, vice versa, and everything, and it really comes to bring about that where did all this come from? Where my rankings are? How is it going to fit with me feeling right at this very moment? Is it going to change in the near future? But yeah, I mean, this is definitely this is our top 10 list of 2022, ladies and gentlemen, that we got going on here, and it's definitely 2022 was a lot of films came out this year, right? And I didn't realize that many films came out, right?
A lot of heavy hitters came out this year. A lot of films that disappointed us. A lot of films that just wowed us.
Yeah.
So pretty excited when we were going back and reflecting on what we've seen so far. There's a lot that we had to go through, and a lot that I forgot that I even saw or forgot that even came out this year. So I was pretty excited to go back and kind of review and kind of pick, if you will. Now I will say though, my list is a little controversial.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people are going to agree with it, but it is what it is. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Everyone has their own, personal list of their top films for the year. So I'm pretty excited what y'all think of our list, what y'all have if you picked out, your list. I'm kind of excited to see what you think.
No, definitely here, and it's definitely going to be a broad term here, definitely a different section of the list. And I know I did post mine late last night, and people were like, Ryan, what? I even got people like, oh, not a lot of good films came out. I have to politely disagree here. I mean, I think a really good, solid amount of films came out this year. This year did swing by pretty quick. It was definitely a year, still, I would say, even beginning of the year, still a recovery of COVID, of the whole film industry at itself, but to put into perspective here, we got a lot of good, solid films that we were expecting to be good, but were huge disappointments. And so before we get on the top 10 list of 2022, ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year to everybody out there, guys. Happy New Year to all you moviegoers out there. This definitely is, it's definitely a Happy New Year.
I hope you guys had an awesome year.
Yeah.
I hope you have another awesome year next year.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful for what, over the course of the year, what happened and what transpired, and, still here, still alive, breathing to this day, and, thankful for my family, friends. So
definitely
very
thankful
Happy New
for all
Year,
the
everyone.
family love, support that we keep getting over and over, and we love it. We really do here at the Movie Talk Studios. Going back into this, before we get to our top 10 once again, we're going to talk about our honorable mentions. We're going to talk about honorable mentions that we did love that did not make our top 10 list of the year, which I'm very surprised. I really am.
And I will.
It's so hard because you're like debating. Okay, is this my top 10? Did this work out? What rating? Like it goes down to that point.
And
man.
we will preface.
Did you have that struggle?
Yes, I did. We will preface this with saying there's a lot of films that we wanted to see that we didn't get to see. Some really good, solid films that we just didn't get to see. So these are going to be the top 10 honorable mentions of what we have seen for 2022. So let me just preface with that.
Definitely.
So you want to go first?
Yeah, so let's go ahead and mention. We're gonna go down a list here. We got a little bit of a list here, and if you haven't already, guys, if you're a new fan, if you like us on Facebook and you just find us, or you just find this live channel, be sure to check us out and you subscribe to us on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. We got a YouTube channel going out, and this will be on our YouTube channel beginning of the year, which will be tomorrow. So this will be available pre-recorded already on our YouTube channel for tomorrow. But let's get right to it, guys. So the first honorable mention that we love to give to, of course, was to the film we recently just saw, which was the Whale movie. The Whale was definitely a film that surprised many people. This was a movie, and if you go back to our review, ladies and gentlemen, this movie ignited Brandon Fraser's career.
Again.
Yeah. Again, and
because I mean he was very big, like, you know, he did The Mummy, he did George of the Jungle, he did a lot of those good films, and I think he kind of was a little bit more quiet in the Hollywood scene after that, for a little bit, but this, I want to say, I feel like I haven't seen him act until I saw this. He is fantastic in this film. Now I will say this was an honorable mention because as much as I loved him in this, I didn't love the film entirely. So I just wanted to still acknowledge that, you know, his performance was amazing and everything. But unfortunately, since the film didn't really hold up just as much, that's why it's on our list of honorable mentions.
Yeah, you know, this movie did not hold up. Again, this is just for me, right? This is just for myself here. This movie, and everyone that asked me, they said, "What did you think of the Whale and everything?" This film really, it as a whole, as a film as a whole, right? We look at it both two different things, and this is a perfect prime example. We talk about the Movie Talk channel all the time. Can a movie be terrible and the performance just be outrageously, insanely good?
Yes.
Can that possibly happen? Yes. Is this the typical case in our point of view, in my point of view, in her point of view? Yes, this is definitely the case here. This movie really, I wasn't, I was content with the film. I really expected a little bit more, but as far as performance goes, it was very good, fantastic. Brandon Fraser is definitely gonna get an Oscar for nominated for the Oscar for this. I don't know if he's gonna win it, but
he better get nominated.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna get nominated.
He definitely should get nominated.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a movie to where it definitely surprised a lot of people. We got the standing ovation earlier this year that we saw videos of. We countless saw awards being awarded to this movie. We saw it hit so many different film festivals, and it just acknowledged it. You know, it really did. It acknowledged that this movie was good. It was a solid film. It got a standing ovation. I mean, it was.
He got a standing ovation. Yeah. He did. So I mean, really
applaud the cast. I mean, applaud the creativity here. This film, if you have not seen this movie, guys, this film actually takes place in one solid small studio apartment.
Pretty much,
and it's very story put. This was directed very, very well, I would say. You know, and we go back to the whole saying of like, how can one set do so much? I'll give an acknowledge to that. This movie did so much with just one set going on here. It wasn't CGI. It wasn't like all Excalibur. It wasn't like all these amazing budget films. And it really was just a film of its own good. It really was. And I enjoyed this movie a lot. It's a good, solid film. I wouldn't say this is the best film or my top 10 at least. But yeah, that's an honorable mention right there, ladies and gentlemen. And put a comments down below. Have you seen The Whale? Did you enjoy The Whale? Did you enjoy Brandon Fraser? Were you thinking, because I saw a few comments saying it was too depressing, and I could see that a little bit.
I like sad movies.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing too. We're a sucker for sad movies. I think we are. We're a sucker for all the sad films, and we really are. We just love watching and TV shows, sad films, and all that good stuff. But yeah, let's get right to it. All right, guys. Our next honorable mention, ladies and gentlemen. Put comments down below. By the way, if you saw The Whale, if you didn't, put comments down below. Let me see here. Alex says, "Is there a call-in number?" No, there is not, Alex. I do apologize for that. There is not a call-in number. Eventually, we will reach that, expertise here. Maybe we'll see. But as of right now, we do not have a call number. But yeah.
But you can leave your comments.
Leave your comments. Put down your list on the comments down below, and we will acknowledge it. We'll talk about it. We'll debate, because love talking about and debating movies here.
I do like to debate.
All right, guys. So let's get right to it. So the next honorable mention here is going to be the one and only HBO Max movie, which surprised me. It did surprise me. It really did. The next honorable mention is going to be Father of the Bride, ladies and gentlemen. Father of the Bride is another honorable mention here. This film came about to be. I was kind of on the fence. It really was.
You were only on the fence because you were unsure of the remake because you love the Steve Martin version.
I love it. Yeah,
love it.
I love
so
it.
when I heard the cast, right, I was like, all right, cool. I'm down for it. Andy Garcia, he's amazing, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't expect to love it as much as I did.
Yeah.
To be honest, because to be honest, reboots usually don't go that great. To be honest,
for the most part.
For the most part, yeah. There's an exception, sure, but I was a little skeptical too. But I gotta say, I absolutely loved this film, and really loved the way it came out, and the cast did phenomenal. Such a great notch job. So I gotta say, I admit, I do agree with you that this should be an honorable mention.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, this film really, it surprised the hell out of me. It really did. This film comes down to where, and it was very creative, I would say, on their part. We found out a few things here. It was definitely different cultures colliding here. Still different cultures. With this movie, it was with the Steve Martin version. I mean, who doesn't love the Steve Martin? Steve Martin's the best clean comedy I could think of. Really, when it comes down to it, I mean, he does a phenomenal job when it comes down to so much good, clean comedy, and I enjoy him a lot. I really do. I enjoy his films. Follow the Bride will always be one of those movies it's just a cheesy, heartwarming film that I really do enjoy. In all respect, though, right? So that movie's out of the way. Now with this remake that came about, I was very like, oh, is it gonna make me laugh? Not really. Is it gonna try too hard?
It did.
My cringe face started coming out, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know. But it surprised me. It really did. This movie surprised me. It surprised us by colliding Mexican culture with Colombian culture, which I thought
Cuban.
Oh, Cuban. I'm sorry, Cuban culture. That I thought was very, very different that we've ever seen in a movie, in a film like this. And it has a very diverse cast. I mean, it has very it went all the way when it comes to authenticity. It really did.
It was nice. It was nice to see that, and I like the cast. The cast and the story was great.
Yeah, no, definitely here, and it exceeded all my expectations. With me going with none at all, but yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. But yeah, and then the next honorable mention, guys, when we're going down the list here, the next honorable mention, of course, is going to be Black Phone. Now, Black Phone stars with Ethan Hawke, and if anyone had the chance to see this movie, I'm pretty sure everyone did. It was a big budget film. Ethan Hawke does phenomenal job.
Almost like a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
Like supernatural.
And I have to acknowledge, the elephant in the room is that this is his first ever villain role in a movie. First ever villain role. I didn't know this. Come to find out, beginning of this year when they're doing the media for this film, right? And I was like, okay, what's going on? Why is it being budgeted? Why is Ethan Hawke I thought it was gonna be a normal movie, just like his normal press release, but it was going above and beyond. I was like, okay, what's going on? So I come to find out in Ethan Hawke's contract for the most of his films, 98% of them, he has to not play the villain. That's in his contract.
Interesting.
So this is the first movie we got to see him not play the good guy or the good person, the good verse,
I know he was the villain in Moon Knight, right?
Oh,
Moon Knight, but that's a show.
Yeah, that's a show. This first ever movie. But yeah, hey, that could count too, though.
That could count too. Yeah. But I gotta say,
yeah,
he is a good villain. I gotta say, he was pretty good, creepy. I know he was supposed to be this serial killer who abducts children.
Yeah,
played it exceptional. So I didn't love this wasn't one of those films to me that I just need to see over and over, but I got a good performance out of this, a good story out of this. And that's why it's my honorable. I would agree, it's an honorable mention for me.
Yeah,
for 2022. Because in a world where quote unquote scary movies don't scare me like they used to, where the plots are cycled and blah blah blah, all that. This was a very top notch film as far as like thrillers go. At least for me,
Yeah.
So I agree. I think this is one of the top thriller films of the year for me. I think this is really one of the only quote unquote scary films. One of the few actually that's on our list. So
no, definitely. This is
a lot.
When it comes down to horror. I have a horror movie on my list. So again, it was a good year for horror movies. We got Terrifier 2. It's a good year for horror movies. It really was.
We saw the first Terrifier, not Terrifier 2.
In all respect, the way the horror industry is, I think this year was the perfect year. It was the best year for them to come out, and I enjoyed that. I really did. But yeah, enough said about Ethan Hawke. But our next one we are going to bring about as well is going to be oh man, I don't have the thing for it. But the next one we're going to talk about here is going to be Elvis. Now, Elvis, with the film Elvis that came out beginning of the year, This film stars, of course, Austin
Austin Butler.
Butler, which now is now he's everywhere. Now he's gonna be this is the role that was either gonna break him or ignite his career. And
Break it or make him.
I think this ignited his career. I think the expectations of this movie was very, very high for anyone.
It's Elvis.
And this stars Tom Hanks too as Colonel. And Tom Hanks does a good supporting role in here. I think Tom Hanks was a very good casting choice for myself. I really do think, as far as the duels together, it kind of like up and comer learning from a veteran. It's just like a veteran versus a pro too. Now that he hasn't been in anything major, he has. It's very TV shows. He just, as far as like a big caliber movie of a big budget film, I think this is one of his biggest, I would say. And Austin Butler did a phenomenal job here. Now we're talking about honorable mentions here, but Austin Butler did great. There was this scene where it's him and Tom Hanks, and it's just so well put. It really is. That scene just so really good. I enjoyed the scenes that where him and Tom Hanks were just together as a duo. They really exceeded my expectations here, and I didn't expect it to love it as much as I did. But the thing that really hurt me when it comes down to the ratings of this film, just like everything else, right? You got to take into account the length.
Oh my gosh,
the length of this movie was a little bit too long for me, and I kind of felt like it kind of went a little bit overboard on that aspect. And
I mean, it's kind of hard because you have to cram 20, 30 years of his life, almost 40 years of his life into two and a half hour movie. So I mean, that's a lot of material to cover. And I know, you want to expand on certain parts of his life, and a little bit more than others, but it was a tough task to be able to tell the full story of his rise and fall. And but I agree that the length did drag, because there's movies that I've seen that have been 3.5 hour movies, and it didn't feel like that at all.
Yes.
But you could feel the length in this one just because certain moments were dragging a little bit. So
but I enjoyed it. This was a really good film. I
enjoyed it. Yeah. But you could tell the length was just a little bit it's a little bit too long.
Little bit too long. But and of course, I'm surprised this did not make my top 10 list. I'm not sure if it did for you or not, but I went ahead and put it on here as well anyways. But the next honorable mention, don't worry guys, we're going to be up very, very soon for our top 10 list. We're going to go by pretty quick. So the honorable mention, the last but not least, of course, is going to be Luck. Luck is a Apple TV movie. And, with Apple TV right now, they're making these artistic films that really are too good for its own good, in a good way. They're too good. They're too stand, and they're just they really hold up its own story, its own genre in itself. And Apple TV does not have that much quantity as Netflix, as Hulu, and all this stuff. But when it takes into account quality, I'm going to say 100% quality is over quantity. That's just myself. That's just my take here.
Apple TV has been killing it.
Yeah.
Knocking it out of park.
With so many different series.
So many different.
Yeah, even the series itself. We just, Dickinson sadly did end.
Ted Lasso's going to end.
Yeah, Ted Lasso's going to end next year. And it definitely sucks, because those are the TV shows. These are the movies that are just so good, and they're so stand, and they really hold up its own good. They really hold up its own very, very well. Luck was a movie for me that I enjoyed the animation in here. I enjoyed the cat in here. There's a little story behind here, guys. The cat actually has a little bit significant story. There's a lot of character development, which means I'm a sucker for character development, moviegoers. If anyone knows, and I am a sucker for character development when it comes down to so much broad development between the characters, the duos, and for two, the animation has to really do well. It really does. For myself, just for anything, a film that we could talk about nonstop about the adult, which is the most adult film that we've ever seen, probably when it comes down to animation, is probably going to be Soul, which was that Pixar film that no one really liked. And I'm just like, why didn't you like it?
It's a little bit more geared towards adults.
Yeah.
It talks about elements that are, tough conversation with kids. They might not understand. They don't understand the concept of death and afterlife, and if what happens once we're no longer here. So it's kind of hard to convey that deep message to toddlers and children. So I can see why it wasn't as popular, but I gotta say, Soul was super surprising. So
Yeah.
I loved it. So
Yeah, it really exceeded my expectations as far as any Pixar film. Film came out last year, by the way, guys, and so it was definitely last year or the year before, I can't remember, but it did not come out in 2022. But yeah, definitely a film to check out if you haven't seen it. But going back to this, Luck was definitely a twist. Now it does get a little childish at the very because it's an animation film. Right? For me, I think it applauses all audience ages.
mm-hmm.
For myself, I really do think I really do think it did that on its own. It reached its own potential, and it had so much to do with the luck, which is Angela's problem here, that she doesn't have really good
bad
luck. Yeah,
bad luck.
And they explain it way differently than I thought we were gonna take as far as like story plot and all that stuff. Story plot was really good. So yeah. But yeah, guys. All right. So if you haven't seen, Luck is available on Apple TV, ladies and gentlemen, since August 5th, Apple TV. But yeah. All right, Angela, you ready for this? Let's talk. We are talking about now our top 10 movies of the year, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, before, sorry, guys. I have to mention one last thing because it's going to be bothering me because I did not mention this. But we're going to mention one film that we both agreed on that really did not exceed our expectations at all. That this is going to be the category we like to call a disappointment. This is a disappointment film. Disappointment film that we did not expect to be the ending of a franchise that we did love and enjoyed throughout the years, throughout the ages. Getting a new franchise, a new trilogy out of this, and we are talking about the new film that just came out this year, Jurassic World Dominion.
Yeah.
Now, Jurassic World Dominion, we went on and on talking about it in our review. So if you haven't checked out our review, check out our review on it. But this was definitely a huge disappointment. I did not expect to dislike it as much as I thought I did. As far as the franchise as a whole, Jurassic World, the first one, it's like Star Wars all over again. The first one showed potential. I enjoyed the first one. Granted, it's the same idea as the first one, Jurassic Park, but it was different. It was updated technology. It was different. It was. Bryce Dallas Page, all of them. It was just different. It really was. But it didn't. Second one came out, and whether you like it or not, the plot ending of it was just stupid. I hate to say this. It was just stupid, dumb. Now the dinosaurs are out in LA. Now they're everywhere. It's like so dumb, so stupid. And I was just like, who in the right mind thought of this idea and thought this was going to be successful? Who knows?
Yeah. So there's been plenty of films this year that I just did not enjoy at all. Like, I didn't get it. I didn't like it. I couldn't have gone my whole life without seeing it. But I gotta say, as far as compared to the hype of this film, right? Because this is the third movie. They're bringing back that cast, the original cast. They're integrating with the new cast. Whatever. Super big hype, marketing everywhere, right? This was like the biggest push of 2022 that I remember seeing.
Yeah, it was.
And to have it flop so badly and not be received as well as we wanted it to be, that's why our consensus is this is the biggest disappointment, because not only was it not that good of a film, unfortunately, I'm sorry. I really loved seeing the original trio together again. I really did. But I wanted the film to be so much better. And because it wasn't, and because it was marketed so much, like this was what we were hyped for a long time. We were hyped to see this. And because of that, unfortunately, I just have to agree with you on that.
Yeah, it in some cases here, when we talk about the whole film as a whole and everything, we talk about like the whole how did it reach its potential and all that stuff. It really, for me, it really did not reach its potential at all. I didn't enjoy this. Now, a flop, I wouldn't call it a flop because it did make a lot of money. It did make a lot of money, whether we like it or not.
It made a lot of money, but was it really?
But a definition of a plot, Angela, let's talk about a definition of a flop is, did it make its budget? It comes out to the finances of this film, and the finances.
Did it make its money back?
100%, yes.
Okay.
Way more, and so. But as a whole of a film, was this a really good film? No, I'm not even gonna give it credit to when it's due. I'll give credit when it's due. I will. To be honest, I will. Everyone knows that I will. And I did not like this movie at all. And it's sad that for me to say that because I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan. And yeah, but I'll leave that on the side. But let's get right to it, guys. Let's talk about our top 10 films already of the list. Let's get right to it. So our top 10 films of the list. We're gonna hit this pretty quick, guys. So we're gonna talk about top 10. Let's get right to it. All right.
So Ryan, you say your top 10 first.
No. So we're gonna do 10. We're gonna do the countdown. Okay. So Angela,
okay.
yeah. So Angela is top 10 right now. So Angela's number. We're gonna start at the number 10, guys. So number 10 for me. I'm on the left-hand side, by the way. I'm right here, guys. So left-hand side, right here. So the top 10 for me is gonna be The Banshees of Inisherin, which I thought was really, really good comedy film, dark comedy film that I did not expect to enjoy. I enjoyed it for its own good. Granted, I saw this when it came on HBO Max. Very sad. I feel like I lost some of the experience of this by not watching in a movie because we're distracted with our phones. This is a movie definitely where you have to pay attention.
Yes,
it really is. And if you get distracted with your phones or anything like that, excuse me, it kind of misleads you a little bit. But yeah, I definitely had to pay attention there on certain aspects. And I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed the message in this film. I thought it exceeded my expectations as far because I didn't know what to go in with. But yeah, number 10, The Banshees of Inisherin was me. Now, Angela, number 10, which I was very surprised, very, very surprised because I enjoyed The Hustle. We're talking about Hustle with Adam Sandler, starring Adam Sandler in there. What did you? I mean, wow! I'm very surprised though.
So I will disagree with you on The Banshees. I didn't enjoy that film, but going back to my top 10, it was The Hustle because I love Adam Sandler. You know, I loved his 90s, 2000s films, Happy Gilmore, so many classic ones. But to see him do like a very good drama, we've seen him do that before. We saw it with Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems, yeah.
God, that made me raise my blood pressure. So to see him again in The Hustle, that was such a good storytelling. You know, we see that he's such a good actor. He's much more than just comedy. You know, he can act. And I feel like this film really highlighted that. And I loved the story. I loved the chemistry between, the actors. Just loved it all in general. So for me, that was my number 10. I really, really did. It's a Netflix film, by the way. Netflix. And so I think, and I'm not into sports, to be honest, I don't like sports movies that much. So I was very surprised. Exactly, and because of that, I got to say, this is why it makes my top 10, because I don't really like sport movies. Yeah. It's something different from Adam Sandler. He's trying to move towards, more drama, and it just worked. And I gotta say that was why it's my number 10.
Dang. All right. Sounds good here. Again, I'm very surprised that she picked number because she's not a sports person whatsoever.
I know.
But yeah, let's get right to it, guys. So number 9, this one surprised me too as well. So number 9, Angela's pick was Prey. Tell us, why did you pick Prey? What made you debate it?
Okay, so I'm also gonna preface this with, I do not like the Predator movies at all.
Girl, you crazy. Girl, you crazy.
You showed them to me. I don't like them. So I cheesy and it's not that great. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of reasons I don't like them. Any of them.
Yeah.
So going into this film, watching Prey, knowing it's, I think, like a prequel. Technically, I have high hopes for it. I was dreading watching it, but my gosh, this surprised me so much. I cared about the characters so much, and it was so cool to see, essentially these like indigenous people go against these highly skilled combative predators and win. And so I thought it was really cool. I love the setting. I love the characters, the story, the plot, everything. I even loved like her dog, wolf companion. Yeah. And I was saying every 10 minutes, they better not kill that wolf companion, because I will refuse to watch the rest of the movie. Yeah. So yeah, I gotta say, for being part of a franchise, I just absolutely do not like. I really enjoyed this film, so that's why I put that as my number 9.
Wow. Okay. I'm very surprised. I really am. That I did not expect to see Prey in your top 10 at all for the year. But that's good to know. My number 9, of course, was She Said, which tells of a story about the Harvey Weinstein incidents that did happen. The sexual allegations, which he did get convicted of. Granted, he didn't get convicted as much as we wanted him to in the movie. But the reason why I like these movies, and it's the same reason why I enjoyed Spotlight. They don't show movies like this anymore. They really don't. It's sad. It really is. It's sad that the journalism film styles are going away. This is probably the last one I could think of is probably Spotlight. Before then was of course the Kurt Russell movie with Rachel McAdams, which is another film that came out again very long ago. These movies are like a dying. They're just a dying breed. If that makes any sense. This is the endangered film species here. The journalism, because this movie was all about journalism. It was about tracking down the truth, and I love that. I love Spotlight, so I don't care what you say. Mark Ruffalo should have earned that damn Oscar for supporting role in Spotlight. That scene is so beautiful, and I love how emotional he gets. I even remember the line. He's just like, how how can we let this happen? It could have been any of us. It could have been me, you. It could have been any of us. And then just like it again, it goes down to where Mark Ruffalo does really good acting. He does. It's really great. I enjoyed him. Now, is he good as the Hulk? That's very debatable.
Yes, he is.
That's debatable because
Yes,
I
is.
enjoyed the Incredible Hulk, which is with Edward. And
I'm sorry, I will say something very controversial, and that Mark Ruffalo is my favorite Hulk.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that. We won't have that big debate about that, but definitely a movie of Michael Keaton's in there, Rachel McAdams. It's a journalism film that they did not realize all this stuff was happening. But this again, I love journalism films. I do, and this is definitely my number 9. I feel like it should have been higher, but with this year, it definitely went up. But all right, let's go right. Next one, which surprised me as well because I did not expect Angela to like this movie. As much as as Talocan, as much. I think the villain for you was very. So let's explain why you picked number 8 as Wakanda Forever.
Because as much as I didn't like it as much as the first one, I still enjoyed the heck out of it. I saw this in theaters like 4 times, right, or like 3 times.
Yeah,
we saw it twice. I took my mom to see it. I watched it so many times, and every single time I was still hella entertained. I still loved this film, and I gotta say I am in love with the villain, like the Tenoch Huerta, who played Namor.
Yeah, Namor.
Loved it. Loved Talocan City.
Talocan.
Loved it. Right. Yeah. So I know, it had its problems, and I'm not going to say it didn't have any problems. It was perfect. It did have problems, but I, at the end of the day, enjoyed this so much, and I really want to see the next step in this. If there's more to be told about the villain, about Shuri, about what happens with Wakanda. I want to know, and I think that's for me why I made my top 10, because it makes me want to continue this franchise, continue this story, continue this new adventure, whatever you call it, and see what happens. So that's why it's my number 8.
Yeah, and then Angela Bassett's in there as well. Just the whole cast. It's really, my major problem was the way, and it's just, we're talking. If you haven't seen Wakanda Forever, I do apologize, but the spoiler of it was that Shuri did become the Black Panther. I did not like that story outcome at all. It didn't, for me. It was very predictable in that aspect. I was just like, really, it should have been Okoye, in my opinion, because of her. She's fantastic as a warrior. She really is. I think she should have taken the Black Panther, and also the way the suit fit Shuri was just weird. It was very like
I said. There's problems. There's problems.
This movie did not. I knew this from the get-go though. Out of 2 reasons, was because of course Chadwick, with the passing of Chadwick, was that this movie was not going to be successful as the first one. As far as movie money making go, it did not make as much money as the first one did, obviously for obvious reasons, right? And 2, you're killing off the main character of Black Panther, so that's why I was just like, why even call it Black Panther if you're killing, like,
you gotta say also rest in peace Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, but even so though, it's like, even so they're gonna be like, well, Black Panther is just a suit, and it's just like anyone could be like Black Panther, but I'm just like, I get it, but we won't go into that huge debate here, but yeah, I get it. Number 8 for me, of course, was Avatar: The Way of Water, ladies and gentlemen. Avatar: The Way of Water, which directed by James Cameron, which this film, knowing where the budget of this film was, it's still saying around 400 to 500 million. It could be more.
And it's already about to make $1 billion.
It already made $1 billion.
It already made $1 billion.
Yeah, I already passed
in like what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, I already passed $1 billion. I know, because I was looking up Showtime. It's like, okay, let me just curious to see if San Antonio's hitting that market very well, if they're doing really good as far as like people are going to go see it. Are they watching it? Come to find out, a lot of Showtimes were selling out still.
Yes.
Still, during the Christmas holiday break right now, still during New Year's, definitely surprising the heck out of me. I was definitely surprised about that. So yeah, I was definitely surprised. Can't wait to see what else unfolds here on Avatar 3 and 4. But yeah, Avatar 8, The Way of Water. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the plot. I thought it was very good. The imagery, the whole graphics are just beautiful. I'll say that. But yeah, that was my number 8. Now let's go. Let's go ahead. Number 7, of course. So number 7, Angela, you said she said. Not bad.
Yeah, so that was a little bit more above you. Again, I
Yeah.
love investigative journalism.
Yeah.
It happens every day with news stories, and I
Yeah.
love that we get to see this put on a film. I know
Yeah.
we got that with Spotlight,
Yeah.
and it's such a great film. She said it was another such a great film. The ladies,
Mhm.
phenomenal, and I loved seeing how they got to the bottom of the story, the truth, like you said,
Mhm.
what happened, and how it unfolded. We got to see like it starting to the ending, where what they could convict him with. So I
Yeah.
liked seeing that. I love like that.
Mhm.
It's almost true crime. It's more investigative journalism, but
Yeah.
I really like that and how it unfolded. So it was just a little bit more above high ranking than yours, but that's still on my top 10.
Hey, I mean, I'm just saying it's still in our top 10 list, knowing that we both acknowledge that it's still in our top 10. Now, this one, of course, number 7 for me was Pearl, An Extraordinary Story by Ty West, which is the film X that came out earlier this year. I was debating this movie or X. I was in huge debate here. And Pearl, I thought exceeded my expectations way more than I thought I would. I thought this movie was going to be like, it's a spin-off, a prequel, and they're just going to try to make money, as much money with it. They're not going to continue the story. It's not going to reach that story aspect, that story plot that I liked and enjoyed of the first film. When we talk about horror had a huge year. It really did. This one in particular was one of those highest highlights of the year. And I feel like for me, I enjoyed Pearl a lot. I enjoyed the plot. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the insanity of it. I enjoyed that face, of course, that facial expression that we see so many countless times all over the posters, all over the Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We see that big, brilliant, extraordinary face of insanity. Uh, there's a scene where she's actually dancing with the scarecrow, and it's about chaotic, it's about insanity, and I love that. I really do. It exceeds my expectations way more than I thought it would. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it in my number 7. I did enjoy this. Ty West, I cannot wait to see the next movie, because we got another film coming out later next year. I believe it's around the middle of the year, but yeah, definitely excited for that. All right, let's get right to it. Number 6 was Luck. Okay, so Luck was on your number. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little bit controversial with
Yeah.
some of the animated films that came out this year. I just related so much to it. Like it's just I have such bad luck, and so
Yeah.
I related so much to the character. I also did like the story of her, the main character Sam, was so different than what we usually see in animation.
Yeah.
She grew up in a foster home or an orphanage essentially, and just aged out, never got adopted out, and she's trying to help her friend. She's such a good-hearted soul, and she's trying to help her friend, this young girl who is also looking for her family. So I just loved the story background of her. And I'm also biased because it has a ton of cats in there. So
Of course.
I love it. I love Simon Pegg as the cat. It was so funny. Oh my gosh.
He did really good as far as voice acting. He did brilliant.
He was great.
We go back at it, and yeah.
So it was so cute. It has such a heartwarming message, and I just love the character Sam so much. So I gotta say it was my number 6.
Definitely. All right, guys. So number 6 for me, of course, was Till. Till's a very powerful movie that I think that should be played at all the schools in the country. Again, that's just my point of view there. This is definitely a history of its own. And it definitely got me researching, because this story of Till, I actually did not know about it too much at all, really. And I was just like, what was this story about? And we Googled a little bit. Angela showed me a little bit. And Angela heard of this story. I didn't, which is crazy because I'm a huge history buff.
And I'm not.
Yeah. And, but regardless of that situation, right? Regardless of the education there, of our education system and everything, I think this film is really a powerful movie. I enjoyed this. I got a very powerful message out of this, and I was excited to see what else are we going to get out of this movie. I was definitely excited to see the message out of this film, because I expected to really enjoy this movie. I didn't expect it to really love the message, the film as a whole. That definitely surprised me. That really did. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, definitely, I think this Till is a movie that everyone in the world should see at least this year or before or beginning of the year, or maybe even so. Maybe you haven't seen Till. Be sure to check out that movie, guys. Wherever videos on demand can be found. But yeah, definitely check out that movie. But it definitely is a powerful film. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, all right, guys. So we're halfway through. Let's go here now. Angela's gonna be a little. She's gonna a little. I'm very, very. I'm definitely surprised. I'm definitely surprised.
I'd also seen
Yeah.
the Tom Hanks reboot of that.
Yeah.
You imagined part of that, and I didn't like it. So I was kind of hesitant, right? I know we saw the trailer, and the way it was just shot, the animation was just beautiful, right? Captivating me right away. So when we actually saw the film, oh my gosh, it took it to a whole nother level. Like, it was just so beautifully done. That movie made me cry so much. Like, again, I'm a sucker for sad films, and I know it has a happy ending and everything, but a lot of the messages and everything is just so sad. And I cried so much in the theater, and I just loved it so much. I watched it as soon as it came on Netflix. I watched it again, and I still felt the same emotions. I think it's such a great telling of the story. I love the cast as well. It was just so cute. I loved it so much. So that's why, for me, it's my number 5.
Nice. And Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, it surprised me so much. It surprised me on so many different levels that I didn't expect to like this. But bring back stop motion. Keep it going, guys. Keep making films of slow motion. Because it really is. It's a lot of work. It really is. I think it costs a lot of money to make that, but I think it's good for the right story, for the right plot. I think it exceeds all expectations. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did, and definitely this is my number. That's your number 5 on yours, but it did make my number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, and we were reversed here. So okay, look, so you got Till's number 4, which we already talked about. Guillermo del Toro's number 4, which I think that's a good place for you. Was number 4
for you? Yeah, for me it was Till, because so I would say Pinocchio is like obviously my top rated animated film, but for Till is number 4 because it was just, like you say, it's a very powerful film. Like, it's oh my gosh, I think the main actress Danielle Deadwyler, gosh, she such a performance as Mammy. She was great. She needs to be nominated. She needs to win. And I loved this film a lot more than I thought I would. I agree with you. I think everyone needs to see it. It's very impactful part of our history. And, I think it was such a great movie. That's why it made my number 4. I mean, I agree completely that with everything you said, it's such a great, powerful film.
Awesome. All right, guys. So number 3 here. So number 3 for Angela was Top Gun
Maverick.
Yes, sir. I'm tired of hearing Top Gun as number 3.
I'm sorry.
I am
okay. I will say. I'm tired. I will say, I had never seen the first Top Gun at all. Right before we saw the second one. Until this one, right before we saw this one. And I gotta say, that first one, I did not like it. I hated that film. I don't know why it was so popular. I don't know why it was a cult classic.
It was popular for its time.
I just did not like anything about it. So I didn't have too much expectations going in the second one. The only reason why I was going to see the second one is because I do like the actor Miles Teller. He was the only redeeming quality for the second one. I was going to give it a shot. But gosh, it surprised the hell out of me. I ended up loving that. I saw this multiple times in theaters. I took my mom to see it. We all loved it. It was such a great film. And I gotta say, for not liking the first one at all, for hating the first one, I absolutely love the second one. I really did. So that's why it's number 3 for me.
Okay. All right. Hey, all I'm saying is that Top Gun Maverick, it's a great film. I thought the whole
it has just the right amount of nostalgia.
I just love the whole stealth, the way they filmed it.
Oh, the planes, the whole scenes with the planes is great.
And I'm not a fan of Tom Cruise. I'm not a fan of Tom Cruise.
Neither am I. Neither am I.
I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I'm not a fan of Tom Cruise, but I still enjoy this. For me, number 3 was The Menu, ladies. The Menu. Oh my God. Let's talk about this. I can go on and on about The Menu. Just so much greatness in this film. Anna Taylor-Joy is in here. Ralph, he does a phenomenal job as the chef. And The Menu is definitely an underappreciated film. I enjoyed The Menu. I really did. The Menu really shocked the hell out of me. It really shocked I didn't expect it to love it as much as I thought I would. This definitely exceeded my expectations as far as the film goes and everything. The Menu for me was my number 3. Mark me. I enjoyed this movie. I really did. We got to see a stellar cast in here really come in and just change the whole philosophy. It changed my whole philosophy of eating a meal now. It's like, dude, I mean, I thought this was really good. It was
cheeseburger.
Yeah, I know. It makes you want a cheeseburger all over again. It really does. And Anna Taylor-Joy, again, we're talking about Anna Taylor-Joy. She is knocking it out of the park with these movies, with these TV. Ever since the Queen's Gambit, it's been nonstop. And remember, she was a little girl in The Witch. She played the daughter in The Witch.
The Witch.
Yeah, and so she's an up and comer. And a little hint that we actually got, a little bit of an insight that we actually did not know, was that Kiko, one of our fellow critics here, he actually told me that she speaks really good Spanish.
Fluent.
Yeah, fluent. So I thought, damn, all right. She's like the least person I thought would be able to. Again, looks could be deceiving, I guess, in that, But yeah, hey, I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see people talk about them anymore. But yeah, all right, guys. That was my number 3 pick, and your number 3 pick was Top Gun Maverick. Now, number 2. Number 2 for you was Where the Crawdads Sing.
Yes.
I enjoyed that movie. I really did. It didn't make my top 10, but I
loved it.
Okay,
so I dragged you into the theater. I
dragged you. Let's confirm this. I dragged you to the theater.
I didn't know. Okay, for one, I will say
you didn't want to see it. Let's just admit it. You didn't want.
I didn't want to see it because I don't like romantic movies. Okay. I don't. I really don't. And so I didn't want to see this. I haven't read the book. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. But my gosh, I cried like a baby in this film. It was so sad. It was so beautifully and eloquent and well done. And you saw the story of her when she's young and when she grows up, and she's basically living in the marshes by herself and falls in love, and all that jazz. And it was such a beautiful telling of the story of her story, and I just loved it. And as soon as it went on Netflix again, watched it again and again, and I loved it. So yeah, that's my number 2. So yes, you're right. Even though I didn't want to see it, yes, exactly. I ended up loving it.
My number 2, of course, was the Batman. The Batman. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. No. Okay, I'll be honest. Okay, I'm biased. Obviously,
you are biased.
I'm a huge Batman fan, right? I really am. But here's the thing, though. So I'm a huge Batman fan. And I didn't know what to expect. I really didn't. I had high expectations going into it, because it's like, you're starting a new franchise. Why are you starting a new franchise and whatever, right? So I was like, it's Matt Reeves, though. This is the same Matt Reeves that created the Planet of the Apes films, with Caesar and all the new franchise. And so I know it's going to be a really good story because of that, right?
And also, I was surprised Robert Pattinson with Batman.
So that was everyone's major concern. Robert Pattinson was too skinny. Whatever the case may be, it's fine. Well, whatever. But I'll be honest here. This was a movie that I knew we were going to get different tone, for one, and we're seeing a different Batman that we've never seen before, because it's a Batman first year.
Oh, and Paul Dano was phenomenal.
Yeah, Paul Dano was amazing. He was. I mean, this year he's going to get nominated for the Fabelmans. He really is, and which we'll talk about. We'll go ahead and just skip it right through. But yeah, the Batman comedy. My number 1 was the Fabelmans, which is directed by Steven Spielberg, which was a semi-biopic of his childhood life growing in the films. No, the Fabelmans shows and tells me the whole reason why we do this. If you haven't seen, I know you haven't had a chance to see the Fabelmans, but the Fabelmans is definitely a story to why we do this, why I do this. Why we talk about movies like it's a sports analysis, why we do this, why we enjoy this so damn much. The Fabelmans really captivates all that. It talks about filming, the filming industry back then. It talks about so much heartwarmingness when you would just watch a movie. The first time you got to see a movie in a theater, the first movie that I bought was Max Keeble's Big Move, and it definitely was not a good. I mean, it's a good. At the time, I thought it was a good film. I was a kid. Give me a break, guys. Give me a break. I was a kid, and that movie was really good. I enjoyed it for being a kid,
for being a preteen.
And I just, again, we go back and forth of like, this is why we do this. This movie is its own. I think everyone who is an ongoing moviegoer should go see The Fabelmans. I think so. I know we're gonna check it out. I'm definitely gonna buy this movie, guys. Steven Spielberg did it again with his biopic, semi-automatic biopic here. That he really touched up on his own childhood. He put his own childhood in a movie, fragmented some truths here, and just wow, it was exquisite. I enjoyed this film. I enjoyed Paul Dano in here, plays the dad. He does a really great job in here. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this movie a lot. And Paul Dano did phenomenal in the Batman. Robert Pattinson is my new Batman now, and
Zoe Kravitz was a great one, Catwoman.
Yeah, not that he's the better Batman. No, it's just I think the Batman at this time, at this point of age, at this point of our universe, he's the perfect Batman for what we're doing right now. But yeah, and then Colin Farrell as the Penguin was just brilliant. I enjoyed the Colin Farrell in there. It
didn't look like him.
Yeah, I know that's. I mean, even so,
I've watched that movie so many times that I still can't see it. But
yeah, let's go to your last number one, Angela. Your last number one. What was?
It's gonna be Avatar. I'm sorry, not sorry. I loved that film so much. The effects were done so fantastic. Blew my mind, out of this world. Gosh, the way it looked was just beautiful. Like it's so hard to put that into words. Like it really is. Like just the scenery and the shots and everything. And the story was so good. I know it's a longer film.
Yeah.
Didn't feel that way at all. Like it was such a great telling of the story. You know, it's a great setup too. I know there's other films that we're expecting down the line. And to hear that they were shot back to back makes me excited. Because, you know, I love the characters. I love the way the actors, the chemistry with them was just so great. I could say so many things good about this film. Yeah. And that's why, for me, it's my number one. Because, first and foremost, it was shot beautifully. Like, whatever the technology was with editing, the CGI, whatever you have, whatever you call it, that went into this, was just impeccable, remarkable. Gosh, and on top of that, to have the great performances behind that, just cherry on top. So I gotta say, that's why it's my number one.
Yeah, James Cameron coming out with
James Cameron.
And again, there's really, I forgot to mention, there's actually a huge disappointment crowd talking about how they did not like Avatar. I thought it was cheesy. How they thought it was very weak story plot. Bringing back, the Colonel.
Again, my list is controversial because it's not and again, this is based on what I've seen. I know there's a lot of great films. Like I haven't seen Tar. I didn't see The Fabelmans.
We didn't see Tar. Yeah.
I didn't see Everything Everywhere All at Once. I know these are all fantastic films. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see them this year. Hopefully next year. Hopefully pretty soon.
Yeah.
But I know this is controversial. It'll stir up debate, and I would love to debate with you about it. But these are my top 10 films based on what I've seen.
Definitely. Mine too, guys. The Fabelmans, my number one film, because it just brought me back to my childhood of like why I do this, why we talk movies, why do we discuss films as we do. It's very beautiful. I do enjoy the Fabelmans. I saw myself as a kid all over again watching a movie in the first time in the theater, and that was beautiful, in an auditorium theater. It was very beautiful. But yeah, guys, this is our top 10 films of the year of 2022, ladies and gentlemen. And if you have not already, be sure to like, share, subscribe to us on Alamo City Movie Talk, guys, because we love talking movies with you guys. Put down your list on the comments down below. What did you think? Did you agree with our list? Or are you like, guys, what the hell y'all talking about? You guys are talking mad. Tell us on the comments down below. You guys are crazy. Maybe you're just like, oh man, you guys don't know what film's all about. Tell us on the comments down below, because we'd love to discuss films. We love to discuss all films here, and we like to compare rankings. Let's compare rankings of top 10 2022, guys. But as always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Ryan680.
I'm Angela, and
this is Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. And like, share, subscribe to us on YouTube, guys. On the road to 2,000 subscribers. We are so close by, guys. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. And have yourself a wonderful day, guys. Happy New Year, by the way. Happy New Year. Check you later, guys.